Section: Introduction. In this section, we discuss the significance of large language models, LLMs, in modern artificial intelligence, particularly their human-like abilities to predict and generate text. The ongoing debate about whether LLMs have achieved or will achieve artificial general intelligence, AGI, is fueled by numerous evaluations. While many benchmarks assess ILM's perception, reasoning, and actions, we note that their exploration capabilities have received less attention. Exploration, which involves seeking new information and strategies often at the cost of immediate rewards, is vital for intelligence. It enhances long-term understanding and adaptability, contrasting with exploitation, which focuses on using known information for quick gains. We recognize three main exploration strategies in human learning: random exploration, which introduces unpredictability; uncertainty-driven exploration, which seeks to clarify ambiguous outcomes; and empowerment, which emphasizes intrinsic rewards and open-ended discovery. Preliminary research indicates that LLMs show limited exploration compared to humans, with existing studies often focusing narrowly on specific tasks. To address this, we aim to investigate ILM's exploration abilities more broadly, particularly looking at uncertainty-driven exploration and empowerment. Our study poses three key questions. Can LLMs explore effectively in open-ended tasks like humans? What exploration strategies do they use, and how do these compare to human strategies? What factors influence their success or failure in exploratory tasks? To explore these questions, we utilize the game Little Alchemy 2, where players combine basic elements to create new ones. This game aligns well with the concept of empowerment and serves as a solid framework for evaluating exploration. We analyze the exploration strategies of both humans and LLMs using regression models, focusing on uncertainty-driven and empowerment-based behaviors. Additionally, we employ sparse autoencoders to examine how LLMs process information related to exploration. Our study aims to deepen our understanding of ILM's exploratory abilities and emphasizes the importance of exploration in developing more adaptive and intelligent AI systems. In our experimental setup, we describe Little Alchemy 2, where players discover new elements by combining basic ones like water, fire, earth, and air. With a total of 720 elements and only a limited number of successful combinations, effective exploration requires a semantic understanding of these elements. We gathered data from nearly 30,000 human participants across over 4.6 million trials to establish a benchmark. Participants learned the game rules and aimed to discover new elements, with performance measured by the average number of new elements found. We evaluated 4 LLMs of varying sizes and architectures to analyze how model differences affect exploration and discovery. Each model received prompts that included game rules and inventory history, and we varied the randomness of their outputs by adjusting the sampling temperature. Lower temperatures favored deterministic outputs, while higher temperatures encouraged exploration, allowing us to investigate the balance between exploring new combinations and using known strategies. Section Summary. In this section, we explore the exploration capabilities of large language models, LLMs, in the context of the game Little Alchemy 2, focusing on their ability to discover new elements through uncertainty-driven and empowerment-based strategies. We analyze performance across various LLMs and human participants, aiming to understand how these models compare in exploratory behavior and the underlying mechanisms that influence their success or failure in open-ended tasks. Section: Regression, Empowerment versus Uncertainty-Driven Strategies. In this section, we discuss two strategies in Little Alchemy 2, empowerment and uncertainty-driven exploration. Empowerment refers to our desire to create elements that lead to many new combinations. We aim to choose combinations that maximize future possibilities, such as how the element human can combine with others to create 83 new elements, while alien only leads to 1. This shows that human is more empowering. We use a neural network to predict empowerment because it effectively captures the complex relationships and potential outcomes in the game. The model considers various factors, including the chances of successful combinations and the empowerment values of resulting elements. This allows us to estimate empowerment accurately by considering both immediate and future combinations. As we conduct trials and observe outcomes, like combining water and fire to create steam, we update the empowerment values of the elements involved. Successful combinations increase empowerment values, while repeated successful combinations that yield no new results keep empowerment unchanged. If a combination fails, we slightly decrease the empowerment values. This dynamic updating reflects our intrinsic motivation to select combinations with higher future potential. Next, we define uncertainty as the novelty of using an element, calculated based on the total number of trials and how often a specific element is chosen. Higher uncertainty encourages us to explore less used elements. To analyze the relationship between temperature, empowerment, uncertainty, and performance, we employed generalized linear mixed effects models. This approach helps us understand how we and the LLMs adapt our exploration strategies under different conditions. We modeled decision-making to explore how empowerment and uncertainty influence element selection and extended this model to see how sampling temperature interacts with these factors. We also utilized sparse autoencoders, SAEs, to understand how LLMs represent cognitive variables like empowerment and uncertainty in the game. By training the SAE on the latent representations of elements, we correlated neurons in the hidden layer with our target cognitive variables. This analysis helps us identify which neurons most strongly represent these variables. Finally, we plan to conduct an intervention to see if removing the most correlated neuron affects the exploration strategies used by the LLM in the task. Section Summary. In this section, we explore empowerment in Little Alchemy 2 as the intrinsic motivation to create elements with high future potential, using a neural network to predict empowerment values based on successful combinations and their outcomes. We also examine uncertainty-driven exploration, which encourages the use of less frequently chosen elements, and employs statistical models and sparse autoencoders to analyze how these cognitive variables influence decision-making strategies in the game. Section. Most LLMs performed worse than humans, except O1. In this section, we analyze the performance of various large language models, LLMs, compared to human players. Out of 29,493 human participants, 90% completed fewer than 500 trials. We set up experiments with 500 trials for the LLMs. On average, Llama 3.1-8b identified 9 elements, Llama 3.1-70b found 25 elements, GPT-4o discovered 35 elements, and O1 identified 177 elements. In contrast, humans discovered an average of 42 elements in 500 trials and 51 across all trials. Our results showed that O1 significantly outperformed humans, while the other LLMs performed worse. We observed that larger models generally performed better, with Llama 3.1-70b surpassing Llama 3.1-8b, and GPT-4o slightly exceeding Llama 3.1-70b. We noted that as the number of trials increased, the success rate of exploration declined, indicating that different strategies could lead to varying performances at different stages of the task. Effective strategies in later phases relied more on understanding the underlying game structures rather than just exploring based on uncertainty. We manipulated sampling temperatures to see how they affected exploration strategies. Higher temperatures moderately improved performance, and we found that O1 employed a superior strategy by achieving more successful outcomes with new combinations while avoiding repeated attempts at unsuccessful pairings. For the other LLMs, we noticed that as the temperature increased, they tended to choose existing combinations less frequently, indicating a reduction in redundant behaviors. However, most new combinations did not lead to new elements, suggesting that high temperatures only changed uncertainty-driven strategies without enhancing empowerment. To understand the strategies used by the models, we calculated uncertainty and empowerment values for each element. We encoded each element as either chosen or not chosen, based on the ILM selections. Our analysis revealed that most LLMs had near zero empowerment weights, much lower than those of humans, indicating they rarely used empowerment in decision-making. In contrast, O1 showed the highest empowerment weights, suggesting a more human-like strategy focused on expanding future possibilities. We also found that uncertainty and choices were processed much earlier than empowerment in LLMs. This raised questions about why LLMs did not utilize empowerment effectively. To investigate, we used sparse autoencoders to analyze the latent representation of elements in LLMs. Our findings indicated that while uncertainty values were strongly represented in the hidden states of Llama 3.1-70b, empowerment values were less prominent. This imbalance explained why the models primarily relied on uncertainty-driven strategies. We further explored the causal relationships between uncertainty and empowerment by intervening in the most correlated neurons. Ablating the empowerment neuron reduced the model's use of empowerment strategies, while ablating the uncertainty neuron led to a significant drop in performance. This highlighted the critical role of uncertainty in understanding task contexts. Our additional interventions showed that both weakening and strengthening neuron activity negatively impacted model performance, suggesting a deeper issue with the current LLM infrastructure in handling open-ended exploration tasks.